So in the previous class, we have seen the creation of the contract, that is value contract. So basically, the contract is, once if you maintain the contract between the buyer and the supplier has to supply the material under fixed price and the conditions within a particular valid period. So this is a function of the contract basically. Now we have seen the value contract. Okay. Now we'll see the next type of contract, that is quantity contract. So same transaction code. ME31K is to create a contract. So the agreement type or document type will changes. So whereas the agreement type or document type for a value contract is WK and for the quantity contract is MK. Enter the vendor. Agreement type. So for example, enter the quantity contract, therefore MK. Agreement date. Purchasing organization. Purchasing group. Purchasing organization. Purchasing group. Plan. Store location. If you want to enter any track number, you can maintain, otherwise it's not required. Press enter. Then validity start and validity end of the contract. So for a period of 1 year, I am maintaining the contract. Payment terms. And no need to enter the target value here. It is purely a quantity contract. Press enter. Enter the material. Enter the material. Target quantity. Enter the net price. Press enter. Then select the line item. Select the line item. Click on item conditions. So there is one condition type which it displays automatically. That is gross price condition type PB00. RA01. So we're supposed to enter the remaining condition types manually. So there will be one condition type which it displays automatically, that is gross price, and the remaining condition type we're supposed to maintain. Press enter. Save. So the system will throw a message saying that quantity contract created and the contract number. So these numbers will display because of the number ranges when we maintain in the background. So this contract is further converted into purchase order. So next step is creation of PO with reference to contract. The next step is creation of PO with reference to contract. So I'll go to the transaction code ME21N. I'll go to the transaction code, your purchase order transaction code as usual, ME21N. Click on document overview. Selection variant, contracts. Enter the material, plant. Don't enter anything. And here you can enter the document type also. MK, that is quantity contract. Suppose if you don't enter document type, it will display whatever the contracts are created, either it's a value or quantity, everything. Execute. Then the system displays the contracts created. So place a cursor on the contract and click on adopt. So place a cursor on the contract and click on adopt. System will automatically take the information from the contract. So we need to enter the quantity. Enter the quantity. Press enter. Close this document overview. And even in item details, in the conditions tab also, you can see what are the conditions we have maintained in the contract. The system automatically displays whatever the conditions we have maintained in the contract. So click on check, save the PO. So like this we'll convert the contract into purchase order. So to display contracts, per material ME3M and per vendor is ME3L. It's the same. So next we'll see the next topic, schedule agreement. The next outline agreement is schedule agreement. So first of all, what is meaning of schedule? It's nothing but planning. So instead of creating the purchase orders again and again, we can schedule the dates and the quantities. Depending upon that, we can receive the material from the supplier. So what is a schedule agreement? So schedule agreement is an outline agreement maintained for the long-term relationship with vendor during the purchasing of the materials, goods and services. Which are procured on predetermined dates over a framework of time, and also to reduce several purchase order processings. So the main advantage of schedule agreement is we can maintain schedule lines or schedule agreement schedule on monthly basis. So instead of creating a PO and then and again, we can schedule the dates and the quantities. Depending upon that, we are going to receive the material from the supplier. Now here, there is a difference between contract and schedule agreement. There is a difference between contract and schedule agreement. What is that? We have created a contract which in turn it is converted into PO, purchase order. But schedule agreement will create and we cannot convert into the purchase order because schedule agreement itself is a PO or a delivery schedule. That is a major difference between contract and schedule agreement. Okay? We can create a PO with reference to contract but not with schedule agreement because schedule agreement itself is a PO or a delivery schedule. So the agreement types or the document types used for the schedule agreement are LP, schedule agreement without release documentation, LPA, schedule agreement with release documentation, and LU, that is used for stock transfer schedule agreement. Now see the document types differences. With release documentation, suppose if you choose to work with the document type LPA, that is with release documentation, then all the schedule lines are stored into the system, that is in our SOA system, and are not transmitted to the vendor. So what is the schedule lines means? That is a delivery date. On each and every date, how much we need it. And here we have the advantage is to change the schedule agreement as and when required. Okay. So whenever you want to have the changes, you can do the changes. And the schedule lines, that is whatever the schedule date and quantity we have planned, that can be transferred to the vendor in separate steps by creating schedule agreement releases. So there will be two types of releases available in SAP system, that is forecast delivery schedule and just-in-time delivery schedules. This is normally it will comes under PP module, production planning module basically. So if you go with release documentation, whatever the schedule lines the company has prepared, the company has planned, that can be transmitted to the vendor. And the advantage is the changes can be takes place for the schedule agreements. The second one is without release documentation. Suppose the document type is LP, that is without release documentation, then there is no release of the schedule agreements is required. And in this case, the schedule lines are immediately transferred to the vendor the moment when you save it. Okay, whatever the schedule, date and the quantities we have planned it, okay, the vendor will get the information automatically. And here there is no concept of changing the schedule lines as previous. Any changes to be done, so prior to this we have to intimate to the supplier, that is without release documentation. Then another one we have is LU, that is stock transfer schedule agreement. Okay, so here you have the document type LU, that is stock transfer schedule agreement. So this document type is used to transfer the stock of the material from the supplying plant to the receiving plant. This document type is used to transfer the stock of the material from the supplying plant to the receiving plant. So these are the document types that comes under schedule agreement. So always most of the cases will use LP and the LU, stock transfer schedule agreement. And to create schedule agreement, the transaction code is ME31L, 32L and 33L. That is create, change and display. So to create a schedule agreement, the transaction code is ME31L. Enter the vendor, document type, that is agreement type, agreement date, purchasing organization, purchasing group, required tracking number, acknowledgement required. Acknowledgement required. Enter. Validity start and validity end. So for how many months or how many days you are planning to. So let's say for example for a period of 1 year I will schedule it. For a period of 1 year I will schedule the payment terms. And no need to enter the target value. Press enter. Enter the material and the target quantity. Net price. So totally for 1,50,000 kgs of the material we are going to plan for a period of 1 year. This is a total scheduling. Enter the material, target quantity and net price. Press enter. Then select the line item and click on item conditions. And here we need to enter the condition types. Already we have maintained the gross price condition type. By default you will get it. So I will enter the remaining condition types. RA01, ZA01, FRA1. Press enter. Save the document. So the system will throw a message saying that schedule agreement is created under the number so and so. So this numbers also because of number ranges only will get it. So we have planned totally for the certain period of 12 months, for a period of 1 year, we have totally planned the quantity. Now how much we need every month? The scheduling. Now we need to do the scheduling now. So maintain schedule lines or schedule agreement schedule. The transaction code is ME38. We have planned the material for a period of 1 year. Okay. So how much quantity we need? We need to plan it. So for that we need to maintain schedule lines or schedule agreement schedule ME38. Now see here. Go to the transaction code ME38. So here you need to enter the agreement number. Agreement number is just now the created schedule agreement number. We need to enter manually because here we have saved it. So automatically we came it so that there is no displaying, otherwise we need to enter manually. Enter the schedule agreement number, press enter. Select the line item and click on delivery schedule. Select the line item and click on delivery schedule. Select the line item and click on delivery schedule. Now see how we can plan it now. So here So delivery date, for example, today's date, 10,000. Press enter. Cumulative schedule count 10,000. Schedule line 1. The next month, 10 plus 15, cumulative will become 25,000. Schedule line 2. The next month, so 25 plus 15, 40,000. Schedule line 3. The next month, so like this, we'll schedule the dates and the quantities. Based upon that, we are going to receive the material from the supplier. That's it. Okay. So like this, these are all the schedule lines, guys. These are scheduled quantities. Suppose if I create a GR for today's date, let us say, for how much quantity will the system will accept? Only for 10,000 kgs as per the scheduled date and all. So total planned quantity here is 1,50,000 kgs. Same. Agreement is created now. Now, let us say I will take this number, agreement number, and I will try to create a GR. Let's say MIGO is a transaction code to create a GR. So here goods receipt against the purchase order. So PO number, there is nothing but schedule agreement, your plant and all. Press enter. Now in item details, here if you click on the quantity tab, the overall quantity ordered is 1,50,000 kgs of the material. But as per the today's scheduled date and the time, it will create a GR for 10,000 kgs. So like this, we are going to plan the schedule agreement. You cannot create again purchase order, guys, because it itself is a purchase order. Let us, I will try to create a PO. For example, I will go to ME21N purchase order screen. We'll try it. Click on document overview. Then click on selection variant, schedule agreement. So as I told you, just you enter the material and plant only. No need to enter any of the information. Document type. Execute. So system displays the agreement number. Now you just place the cursor on the agreement number and click on adopt. Okay. So enter purchasing organization. So system is not taking any information. Okay. Even if you try it also, it will not allow. Or else we'll go with another way. In the purchase order, in item overview. So this is item overview. Click on this item overview. And if you drag the screen here, there is a option called outline agreement. Enter the schedule agreement number. Press enter. See, the system will throw a message, document so and so, not a contract. Please enter a contract. So you can't. Okay. Because agreement itself is a purchase order. You cannot convert again it is. Like how we have seen the list of contracts, in the same way, the same transaction code for both contract and agreement. If it is per material, ME3M. If it is per vendor, it is ME3L. To display list of contracts and to display list of schedule agreements, both are the same. If it is per material, ME3M. If it is per vendor, ME3L. So these are the total, the purchasing documents what we have. Purchase requisition, purchase order, request for quotation, contract and schedule agreement. And we have seen the master data, material master, vendor master and info record. So the next topic is source determination. The next topic is source determination. So this source determination is processed in two categories, in two ways. One is source list, another one is quota arrangement. So one is source list, another one is quota arrangement. Now first of all, what is basically the concept called source list here? Now for example, I will take one material. So my material number is 6051 is my material. And my suppliers, that is vendors, 2202, 2203, etc. Whatever the suppliers we have. Now, if I want to create a purchase order for this material, I can create a purchase order for this vendor, for this vendor, for this vendor, whoever it may be. There is no restriction here. Okay, so far. Even if you go to purchase order screen, now here you can understand it. I will enter the vendor 2201 vendor. Enter your purchasing organization, your purchasing group, company code, and the material is 6051. Enter the quantity, net price, whatever it is, plant and solution. Press enter. Okay. So system, if you click on check, yes, you are able to create a PO for this vendor 2201. Remove the supplier. I will enter another vendor 2202 vendor. Click on check. Yes, System is accepting. Now remove this vendor. I will enter another vendor. Click on check. Yeah, so enter the net price. So even to this vendor also you are able to create a PO. So there is no restriction to purchase this material either from supplier 1 or supplier 2 or supplier 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Now my requirement here is now whenever I want to purchase this material code, that is a material number 6051, system should accept only the supplier, for example 2202 supplier only. The system should not accept other than this supplier. Got the point, guys? So far you are able to create a PO for this material to any other supplier. There is no restriction, either vendor 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now my requirement is I want to purchase this material 6051 material with a particular vendor, that is the vendor is 2202 vendor, so that the system should not accept other than this supplier when you try to create a PO. So what does this mean? It means we are trying to fix the vendor to purchase the material. I can say here we are trying to fix the supplier to purchase the material, isn't it? It means you are restricting it because you are specifically want to purchase a material with 2202 vendor. Other than this supplier, the system should not accept any other supplier to purchase this material. So what does this mean? It means we are fixing the supplier itself. So that is the concept of the source list now we are going to discuss. Okay. So what is a source list now? So source list is a master data and source determination component in which we list all the source of suppliers or vendors for a particular period for a particular material at plant level. Listen carefully. So what is the source list means? So source list is a master data and source determination component in which we list all the source of supply, nothing but the vendors for a particular period for a particular material at plant level. The main function of sources is to fix the vendor. The main function of sources is to fix the vendor because we are fixing the vendor to purchase the material. And here again we have two options depending upon the customer requirement or depending upon the client requirement. We can go for the source list option. Okay. The source list is maintained in two ways, that is in two levels. One is plant level, the another one is material level. Suppose if the source is maintained at plant level, let us say, okay, suppose if the source is maintained at plant level, then we have to maintain the source of supply or vendor information to all the materials under that plant. So here let us say my plant is 2011 is my plant. And in this plant, we are purchasing, let us say, 20,000 different types of materials. It may be raw material or whatever it is, materials and goods. Suppose this is my plant. If I go the source list at plant level, then for all the materials, that is the materials means in this plant you are purchasing 20,000 different types of materials. So for all these materials, we need to maintain the supplier information. It means this material from which vendor and so on so period we are going to purchase the material. So this material from which period and from which vendor are going to purchase the material. So what does it mean? So it means it is affecting the source list parameter is affecting to all the materials under the plant. If you maintain at plant level. So that is a source list option maintaining at plant level. So normally we never go at plant level, guys. So we don't want to have the sources for all the materials. Okay. So my requirement is for a particular material. So we have 20,000 different types of materials. I want to go only for the material called 6051 vendor. Okay. So that is the source is maintained at material level. So it will affect only for a particular material under a particular plan. Then what happens when you try to create a purchase order to whichever the source list indicator or source list option is maintained for that material, then certainly the system will ask to maintain the supplier information who are available in the source list. Okay. So basically the concept of sources is fixing the vendor for a certain period. And this is maintained in two ways. One is plant level, another is material level. If it is at plant level, so it will affect all the materials at plant level, whatever the material. It may be raw material, finish, whatever the material it is. The second is the source is maintained for a particular material at plant level. So it will affect only for that material. So other than this material, if you try to create a PO, it will accept it. And when you try to create a PO for that particular material itself, so system will recommend only the suppliers available in that source list itself. Okay. Yeah. So this is about the sources functionality. So this we'll see in the tomorrow's class.